Now, what's up? And I hope you're rocking with me on this one. So, I get up this morning, start doing the chores or whatever, and I'm cutting the grass and I'm listening to YouTube. And there's a particular video that came up about Afro Latina type of things. And they're talking about race. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about race and how they're so connected to, they were more connected to Spain than they were actually connected to Africa. And there's one young lady, she was talking to her mother about race, and then there's a young man who was talking to his father about race. And what sparked this is when the young lady was talking to the mother. She told the mother, she was talking to the mother about her brother, and her mother's concerned that her brother and his friend who happened to be Nigerian were gonna take a bus from, like, I want to say Florida to Pennsylvania, and she was nervous. She was like, anything could happen to them. They going on the bus through the deep south, you know. Was good, Kurt, through the deep south. So I'm like, okay, that's a problem. The mother feels like that's a problem because she remembers the 60s, right? So as this is going on, then the daughter starts talking about people didn't tell her she was pretty enough. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks again. Like, your mother is concerned about your brother's life, but your concern is about people seeing you as pretty. And I was like, this is the thing between race and gender. Because if you're the same race but different genders, you have different issues to deal with in America. You have different experiences, that are gender specific. And I'm looking at it like, okay, so what's the problem? And then bring it to it nationality, right? So first and foremost, I'm going to discuss the racial part. Race is interesting to me because people either hide behind race in a positive or negative way, or they use it as a crutch in a positive and a negative way. You can't use being something as a crutch in a positive way. Or people kind of use race to their benefit when it suits them. And people have these bias, these underlying bias against people that, you'll make somebody's life a little harder than it has to be because you don't necessarily like their race, you know. Uh-oh. Okay. So now I got to get up early and go to work tomorrow. Cool. So now we're playing that game. So the thing about race, as far as everybody's experience is, because I was watching Abba and Preach also, and they was talking about other people being racist, like towards white people. And I like Abba and Preach, they dope. But what's up, Gigi? And I was looking at another brother, I think Demcad, talking about race in a sense, and Karens and all that. And I find this very interesting that we're looking for equivalent to white racism. Then, oh, got you. White racism is a problem for everybody in America. But what it seems to be that people are looking for, thanks, Cortez. This is, black people did this, and this equals to being white and racist. No. Yeah. They didn't like them because of the color of their skin. That's equal to like the Ku Klux Klan. No. See, when you're looking for a one-off and you put it right next to the history of what actually happened and how it persists, then what are you talking about? This black dude cussed out a white woman. See, they can be racist too. Uh, no, because I'm actually on my phone and I gotta be somewhere at 3 and it's almost 2. So no, not today. But maybe later on today, if I get home early enough, I'll do that. But America is Kemet, what's happening? So I'm sitting there looking, and I'm looking at, how people are operating as far as race is concerned. And like people are having these weird type of issues. Like, and why I'm bringing gender and nationality into it, the more the more lights on and the cockroach scramble, that's dope to say. What's up, Michael? Like when, because when people are making these comments like the quote unquote Karens and whatnot, the issue isn't necessarily just these white people being quote unquote racist. What's up, Sister George? The issue that's probably bigger than that is people had the audacity to be out of pocket and think it's okay. This is the problem with race to me. I'm like, oh, because I'm this race, I'm going to be out of pocket with you. And I'm going to assume that I'm going to get no response to this, which to me is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very ignorant. So, partially getting back to the gender thing, right? When I saw the mother and the daughter's interaction, I'm thinking to myself, how do you equate your mom's fear of your brother getting killed to you being upset, you know, at you not being pretty in somebody else's eye? You know, appreciate it, Julian. Like, how do those things like? Do you think that should let you know you have a difference of dealing with race in America? And the only reason I get into that is because we always talk about people being coddled, like the men being coddled, and men are raised in predominantly single mothers households, and you raise the daughters to go out into the world, and you raise the sons to be coddled and kind of be sabotaged and to be in the house. And part of that is from the fear of something gonna happen to your son. And the crazy part about it is, I don't think the ladies who are the siblings or the relatives, the cousins and stuff, take into consideration, some of these guys have been coddled out of fear because of how race affects the men more so than the women. And it's like, this is stupid. Because now we're dealing with people who like, oh, I'm here, I'm here, I can do these things, I can do those things. Why can't you? Well, before these guys, and I'm not saying, some of these guys are just lazy. Let me just be honest with that. Some of these guys are just lazy. Some of these guys are using race as an excuse. And some of these guys are actually trying to reverse the programming that has been taught to them that they can't or they shouldn't aspire to be or do certain things because it will put them in harm's way. Let me slow down my talking. So we out here looking at gender like it's the same, and the reason I bring that up is because of this. The protesting, in some senses, died down, in my opinion, because it's the second surge of coronavirus. Oh, what's up, Third Ward? The second wave or whatever has hit, and I'm seeing, you know, people are going to have to take into consideration that, you know, racism is across the board if you black. And what I mean by it's across the board is, no, I didn't protest. I was actually working most of that time. You know, no, I didn't. And personally, not my thing. You know, I'm tired of walking. I'm just tired of walking, to be honest with you. You know, what's up, Reggie? That too. I protest with my money. She said we don't have the time to. You know, that's how, you know, people forget that. You know, yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure if blacks can be racist, but I think we can be culturally indifferent. You know, but exactly, I get that. But getting to the thing about the nationality part, I think part of these protests and everything, when it comes to race and nationality, people are starting to go, wait a minute, because when they were talking about being black, with the Afro Latino thing, you know, people was like, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Dominican, and same thing when you get somebody who's African, they're African, wherever their country is in Africa. You know, if you're Central or South America, if you're in a different country, you're that. Caribbean, like I just said, you're that. But in America, you're gonna still, you know, your nationality has nothing to do. You know, I just, you know, their nationality doesn't necessarily have anything to do with race, because when I was looking at the lady talking about it, I was thinking to myself, you know, she was like, well, you know, being Latino ranges from all races. And I'm like, yeah, until they want to. I mean, it's the same thing, though. Like, most Puerto Ricans, you know, and when you look at most Puerto Ricans, you wouldn't, like, I got family members who don't like going to Florida because people think they Florida or New York, because they think they're either Puerto Rican or Cuban. You know what I'm saying? It's the same mixture of people. But the difference of language and culture has to do with where you were at. No problem. Man, no problem, Benevolent. I'm glad you got something for it. I mean, you know, that's the thing. This is why I'm saying race, gender, and nationality. Because when people say Dominicans aren't black, what exactly are they saying? Because the same people that say Dominicans are different from Haitians, even though they are. That's like me saying, you know, that, you know, Texans are different from people from Louisiana, but we still Americans, right? So you're gonna get the same groups in Texas as you would Louisiana. They're right next to each other. So that, to me, that's the same thing with the race and the nationality. When I see Dominicans and Haitians, y'all the same to me. I was born in New Orleans, Michael. Yeah, they the same island. You know, I ain't see which it just went up. But this is the problem. But I get it. You know, personally, I get it. Like, I get the approximation when it comes to race of people of different nationalities, because they want to be treated better than us as black people. I get that. But that doesn't mean that these groups going to accept you. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to, oh, oh, look, everybody else is this, and as long as you're not black, you're in the family. That's not true. That's the problem. Like, when, you know, I forgot who was talking about that, because they were talking about, you know, their Spanish heritage, and I'm thinking to myself, and one of the younger people on the panel was talking about, like, we don't look Spanish, right? D-Rock. And it was like, we don't look Spanish, and Spaniards not gonna help you. And I forget who it was. I want to say it was Mr. Research, but I could be wrong. But a long time ago, they were talking to somebody, and I think they were Mexican, And it's like, I'm going to go back to my country, going to go to my homeland, Spain. And then the lady went to Spain, and it was like, oh, you from one of the lands that we conquered. And she had her heart broken. Your feelings was hurt because she just assumed that if she went back to Spain, it was going to be like a touching moment, her getting back to her homeland. And they're like, you ain't Spanish. You are not Spanish. You know, you wanted to be, that's the same way you in America and you speaking English. You ain't British. You know what I'm saying? I'm not British. I speak English though. That's what they speak in England. That's what this is. So, the race part, I get it for people with different nationalities. What I don't get is the cognitive dissonance. It's I don't understand. When did that happen? You know, is it your father's blood? Hey, DNA, you both. Hey, 23 or both, But I get it. I definitely get it. You know, that, but that, I mean, I get it. I get it. To me, like I said, in New Orleans, you get all that, all those tones and cultures mixed together, because that's Africa, that's uh, Italy, that's Spain, that's, what is that? What am I missing? Ireland, and then you got to mix in some of the islands too, because when they try to, go back and forth and trade out different slaves and all that other stuff. So it's a bunch of things put together. But when people had this nationality part, it's like, well, listen, America don't want you to have a nationality. Yeah, he said, I get you, GG. Yeah, that's what I'm, France, yeah, Paris, I'm bugging. But getting back to the part that was trippy to me, just trippy to me was, at the end of the day, we're going to have to put on the table how different races individually experience America. Because a black experience is different from a Hispanic experience. It's different from a Native American experience. It's different from a Middle Eastern experience. It's different from a Muslim experience. It's different from an Asian. Yeah, I think I said Asian. So that's different. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let's see where we at. I got a phone call. What is a person called who is half African but born in America? Shit. American. I don't understand. Like, that's the thing. Like, America is a place where they want to take your culture. What's up, Gene? That's what America is. America is the land of culture vulturing. So your culture becomes American culture, and it's for sale. So, damn. So what winds up happening is you dealing with this society in a different way, as a race. But the question is, wait up. But we look, all of us, like when I went to college, when I transferred and came to college in Texas, the minute I didn't know Africans until they started speaking. I didn't know they was African until they started speaking. You know, most Africans and black people, except for certain areas, you're not gonna tell the difference. You're not gonna tell the difference. Like, people even with Nigerians, some Nigerians are they from Africa, some you can't tell. You know, it's just what it is. But we can't sit here and act like, you know, you Romanian. All right, all right. This is your family from Cameroon. Like, I was running into chicks from Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal. Oh shit! I wonder if I forgot where she was from. She wasn't from Cameroon. somewhere else. Anyway, but I've run into chicks from different places in Africa, Kenya, you know, and we're black, they're black. They're just more so African. Senegal does have some beautiful women, but their experience here is going to be different because of their nationality. And what I'm trying to say is, people from who come from different countries have a different opinion of America. They look at America with a certain level of reverence, with a certain level of respect, with a certain level of, oh man, I could make it here. And I've talked to my friends from Africa about this. I've talked to my friends, friends from Haiti, like this, Jamaica. They look at this place as a place where you can pretty much make more money than you could in your home country. So they look at it as a place that you can come up. But the last thing they want to do is be considered us when they come in here to come up. It's the last thing they want. I'm black, but when it go down, like I'm gonna be on this side because I don't want to, unless it affects me personally or my people, we ain't with it. And I get it to a degree because this is where race comes an issue. When people want to come to Black Americans about their issues in America as far as race is concerned, even as far as gender is concerned, you kind of, as a Black American, you look at people like, why are you coming to me with this? Why? Because I know a lot of people who aren't Black American and who aren't white, who are all the other groups. They don't necessarily experience racism unless it's indirect. You get what I'm saying? Like it kind of hits those people as a shock. Like, dang, these people they really don't like. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Now, the irony about that is when they're shocked, sometimes I was shocked that they were shocked, but other times I got used to it, like, you know what I'm saying? Man, Dollar Wash, I already did that. I already did. I know the feeling, bro. I know the feeling. What choice should I what? Hold up. God dog it. What choice should Black Americans put down? You know, we put down the same choice we've been putting down. But that's the thing about race in particular, and nationality in particular, is people who aren't Black Americans and who aren't white have an approach like they're the other. Because when we talk about issues in America based on race, and even gender issues that are based in race, is normally a black and white issue, a white and black issue. You know, that's the problem. So if you non-black or non-white, if you black and you from a different country, it's not, racism isn't as personal to you. In America. Now it may be personal to you in your country, but it might not necessarily be white people. It might be another group of people. You know, so that becomes the issue. Like, and why I was saying race, gender, and nationality, because when you have gender issues, a lot of the gender issues are under racial issues. And what I mean by that is gender came after race for the most part, because a lot of what was going on when they say, all men were created equal, right? Declaration of Independence. They left out Black men in particular. But because Black men were the only group that was slaves in the country at the time. And I know people like to say Irish people were slaves, but Irish people were indentured servants. Like they were able to, they weren't born slaves and died slaves. That's not how that worked. You know what I mean? I, yeah, I don't see how it's not such thing as a black Latino. That makes no sense to me. But getting into that, black America wound up being a inclusive culture even for a very long time because blacks would come here and just be in the black community. And blacks back in the day, okay, if you come to America as a black, whatever you are nationality, you're gonna be seen as black in America. There's no getting around that. And this split between gender and nationality, in my opinion, does come up after the civil rights movement because that's when that allowed America to be more inclusive. Like, everybody could come. Because when you think about immigrants and Ellis Island and give me your sick, give me your this, give me your that, that was for white people. That wasn't for other people. Now, mind you, Asians were already here. Like when they say the Chinese built the railroads and stuff like that, that means Asians was already here. Like all these other groups weren't necessarily here. Some Japanese people were already here. That's how they wind up being in concentration camps after after Pearl Harbor. Like there were people who were here, but the vast majority of immigrating to this country prior to civil rights was white people, was Europeans. The Europeans from different parts. From Europe and Asia, as far as Russia to Europe. You know what I'm saying? Did it depend on? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Indigenous. I will definitely check that out because this is why um, the idea that we all look alike comes from people not wanting to play this game. Thank you. Thanks, Edward. And getting back to the 3/5 thing, you know, women feel like they weren't in the Constitution at all. They didn't have rights at all. So what amendment gave women their rights? Was it also the 13th? You know, because I didn't forgot. I'd be perfectly honest with you, I didn't forgot. But gender issues became an issue with all of this. But who was treated worse? You know, black people or women? You know, right. But people don't realize the Kardashians are what you would call Middle Easterners. You know, 19th. Thank you. So race preceded gender. So was race got in the way, then the women felt like they didn't get their fair shake. Oh, I know. We know. That's the thing about race right there, Indigenous. Like, part of the issue is we make everything white. It's not, it's not of value unless we lighten it up. The Bible could not be the Bible. Armenian is not, I mean, to a degree you could say that because Armenians are by the Caucasus Mountains. Armenia is by the Caucasus Mountains, so you could say that. But figuratively speaking, they're Middle Easterners. You know, they're Middle Easterners. This is, one of the things. But getting back to it about, let me get more, um, like the Bible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe in God, but I understand that man messed it up. You know, supposedly we got our rights a couple of times. Truth is, nobody has rights. Not in America. Now you're trifling for that third word. Nobody has rights in America, in my opinion, because America wasn't set up. Nobody who's not white doesn't have rights in America, is what I'm trying to say, because America wasn't set up to have for everybody else to have rights. The Native Americans didn't have rights. We didn't have rights. Um, all the other foreigners, like the Asians, they don't really have rights here. You know, Yeah, they were black Native Americans, but that ain't the. We don't look at it like that. You know, Middle Eastern is just is a mixed race. To me, Middle Eastern is the Arabs are in the same boat as the Hispanic community. You know, you got some white folks, you got some black folks, you got some, I guess, native folks, and you got some mixed folks. It's all an amalgamation. He said, do I have the right to what? Hold up. He said, you do have rights. If you go to the hospital, they can't turn you away. They can't turn you away, but that don't mean that they gonna help you. See, like I talked about, like this is what I mean about race in America. Those are the subtle things. They don't have to help you. Somebody can have a certain feeling about you racially and not help you, or give you lackluster help, or give you lackluster care. This is where we at. You know, that's what it is. Right. Exactly. That's whitewashing Africa, you know. But that happens. Now, when I think about these situations with race in America, a lot of this stuff stems from trying to get a piece of the American pie. You're using race as a there are a lot of people in America who play the race card, like everybody. Shouldn't say everybody. If you white, you play the race card in America because it's set up that way. If you black, you're going to have to play the race card at some point, period, because they're going to play it on you. If you non-black or non-white, you play the race card because at least I'm not them. You get what I'm saying? So that's what it is. This country was set up by race. It's ran by race. Uh, the business apparatus is by race. And then we talk about gender as far as the good old boys club and all this, that, and the third. You know, I think racially and gender has two different aspects because when you look at race and you look at black men in America historically, brothers have created so much in this country, business wise, structurally, foundationally, fought for so many things in this country, been trailblazers in so many ways for in this country that, as Public Enemy would say, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. People have held black people in general back with their great strides and achievements. I think the gender problem comes in with women where, I hate to say it this way, but I don't think women have been held back in the way that men have been held back because women haven't created as much as the men have. Not no disrespect to them, no shot to them. What's up, Damon? No disrespect to them, but when you think about the building of this country, the building of the businesses, the building of the this, that, and the third, this is what I'm getting at, Michael. Protesting is never going to stop racism in America. No, white people. What'd you say? White people in America are racist every day. There's not there's nothing black people could do to stop white America from being racist. You know, you play the race card. Watch, if you apply for a job, you play on the race card. You got to. It's in the mix. If you filled out the census, you play on the race card. You got to. It's in the mix. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be played regardless. If you go get a driver's license, your race got to come up. If you go to school, your race got to come up. Everything you do in this country, your race has to come up. It's part of the process. Race and gender, is part of America's process. Everything you do in this country. So it is what it is. It's always gonna be played. And yes, they still check your teeth. Wow. But this is the thing about like getting back to the gender part about with the ladies. Like, how many, you know, ladies didn't have any started car companies, boat companies. They didn't create a lot of inventions. You know, it's a problem. You know, a lot of systems of banking, STEM, you know, science, technology, engineering, math. They weren't really prevalent in those things, and they say, we got held back for because of our gender to be able to do those things, and I get it. Uh-oh, man, I missed it, bro. I'm sorry. I couldn't read the whole thing. So my apologies. But what winds up happening in this situation is, you got other nationalities coming. I mean, we have, yeah, but that's the thing about business and stuff. Like the business I get, the inventions I don't. Because sometimes, even to this day, women don't like to invent things. No, 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 no. I'm not saying it's implied benefit. Well, it's an implied benefit when people read the applications and they assume things about other people. You know, they put things on other people. Like they assume one person is better than another person because of their race. You know, that's part of, that's the other people get opportunity based on your race. You don't want to know the answer to that, Michael. You got to get rid of, you got to get rid of everything. You know, that's the thing about race and racism. Like, you know, it benefits. Yeah, that's a disadvantage. Exactly. And people are at a disadvantage because of their race. People are at a disadvantage sometimes because of their gender. People are at a disadvantage because of their nationality. Think about it. Like in America, when you get a cold call or a call from somebody, and they have an accent that is not in America, you don't, people kind of scoff at that. Like I had teachers who were from different countries, and because they were from different countries and they had an accent, you know, even though they were our teachers, people didn't respect them that much. LC was popping, you know. Oh, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't get this. I don't get that. I don't get your accent. You stupid because of the way you talk. This becomes a problem because, and now when people look at the country, the nationality, all right, what's happening, man? When people look at this country, you're looking at a country of people who they flow in and out of race, gender, and religion. I mean, not religion, and nationality to their benefit. So what you got is people who, okay, can my race get me ahead? Okay, if that can't get me ahead, can my gender get me ahead? Can that get me ahead? Can my nationality get me ahead? And now what you start to see is people playing so many games that they lose themselves. You know, that's the problem. That's why I started this with the conversation with the mother and the difference between her daughter and her son. She was worried about her son's life, but her daughter was worried about her validation. And I'm like, that don't, that lets me know that you're not dealing with racism in the way that the men are. You know, right? But that's the thing. Like you're at a point in America where if you name your son Daquan, you automatically know by naming your son Daquan, they're gonna have a hard time getting a job. They might have a hard time filling out a college application because their name is Daquan. They might have a hard time getting accepted, you know, if they're like on the fringe of being accepted to a school. Yes, names really matter. Yes, absolutely they matter. And like Kurt, like I got what we consider a regular name in America. And I was talking to my woman about this. I can order food like as a black man, I'm comfortable because I got a quote unquote normal American name. I'm comfortable ordering food online because if because they don't know my race by my name. But if I was to order food and I had the name that some of my family members have and some of my cousins have, I wouldn't be comfortable ordering food online. Couldn't trust it. Couldn't trust it. Especially from certain businesses. If I was hungry and I was in the taste for a particular thing, couldn't trust it. Couldn't trust what they do to the food. You know. So all names matter. you know. What if you name your black child God? They got plenty of kids name Messiah and all that type of stuff. You know. Well, I couldn't get a job based on people liking my name, but I get that exists. I get that exists. But that's the thing, even with the gender part. Like I got male family members who have what you would consider a female first name. It helps. If you're a top D1 athlete, yeah, I can see that. Or you're a top student. If you got a 4.0, 4 point something, your honor society, they'll overlook that. Whew. Excuse me. But the ladies, what I don't understand about this is, um, women equate racism and sexism to the same thing. You know, and racism and sexism, like racism, sexism, and xenophobia are three different things. And people seem to say, okay, if I'm this race, you can be racist because I'm this race. You could be sexist because I'm this gender. And you could be xenophobic because I'm from this place. But it doesn't work like that in practical application. Like if somebody doesn't like you because of your race, that's why they don't like you. If somebody doesn't like you because of your gender, that's like normally, historically, men not liking women because she's a woman, or thinking she's less capable because she's a woman. That's the man to woman thing. Xenophobia, is I don't like you because of where you come from. But the problem with that is people, for some odd reason, forget that if you were from a country that America has had a war with, and you come to this country, or you from a country that's affiliated with being a adversary of America, you basically came into enemy territory. Not saying, because as an American, Americans go certain places traveling, and they're not welcome certain places because certain countries don't like Americans. You know, you know, I I get that classic, but because you think, oh, I'm from this country, it's like racism. Is it? Okay, so if you compare xenophobia to racism, how does it stack up? Thanks. Like, I hate you because you're from this country. How does that stack up to racism? Like, it's the systematic part. Are you going to come from another country and they just going to arrest you off top, or the teacher's not going to teach you off top? You know, are you going to get hounded by the police off top? Are you going to get the classic quote unquote the Karen thing going because of the country you come from? Are y'all known to get, you know, lynched or killed or set up, or are there movies about guys who came from other men and women who came from other countries and were set up by the police, and then they were and their sentences was overturned and overruled and uplifted 20, 30, 40 years later? Because is that a normal thing when you come from another country? Like, which is no. You know, unfortunately, truth be told, when you come from other countries, um, they portray you as people who come and bring your criminality to America. And if you're non-black, it's cool, you know. And yeah, I get it. I get that, Damon. You know, same thing, but as a woman, gender. Do you equate gender, you know, sexism to racism? Because, you know, if a man, if you get pulled over by the police because of sexism, you think he gonna pull you out the car and beat you or shoot you, or, you know, he's in fear for his life, so he gonna pop, 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 pop. You know, is that what's gonna happen? Um, do you think, you know, when you apply to a school, they're not gonna let me in because I'm a girl? You know what I'm saying? Or you think, okay, I can't apply for this job because I can't get it because I'm a woman. You know, I'm done to, you know, but like a lot of times people put, you know, you can be a black woman and assume that because you're black, you're going to get treated like a black man as far as racism is concerned. And that's not the case. You know, that's just not the case. That's an anomaly that stuff like that happens. You know, gender equality is less likely to happen than racial. That's the thing. Like, is there a such thing as redlining because you're a woman? You know, is there such thing as redlining because you're from another country? You know what I'm saying? Is there such thing as what was that when they had the home loans, when they were giving people subprime mortgages? You know what I'm saying? I find it interesting that people are part as, I mean, let them do that. That don't make sense to me, but I definitely get it. What the heck I just do? You know, but they look at that as racism. You know, homophobia. I don't. How does that happen like racism? And the reason why I said it is because it is ultimately is earlier I was saying, you know, all these other groups look for a one-off for black people to say you're just as racist. Like, you're homophobic. If I say black people are homophobic, do we respond like white people who hate gays and lesbians? Because that's who have been killing gays and lesbians for the most part for decades. All their movement started with white people killing them. You know, that's what that was about. But that's the same. When it comes to people being xenophobic, oh, you know, these black people are racist because I come from this country. You know, no. A lot of times what happens with the miscommunications with black people and people who are different nationalities, to me, a lot of people come here and think since racism is part of America's culture, I can come to America and I can act like the other people in America who don't like black people. To fit in, let me act like them. I don't F with you. I don't rock with you. You're beneath me. And then that disrespect causes more disrespect. You know, yeah, I mean, black feminists identify as a separate group, you know, publicly, but not privately. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult. I mean, yeah, this is a lot of stuff. You know, because think about it. Some of those black feminists might be looking for a man now if they stay if they're unemployed for a long time. I mean, feminism is just like, feminism is an offshoot of the civil rights movement. And I don't get it because it went away from what it was about, you know. Yeah, Ghana has been calling for people to come back to Africa, but that's the thing. Like when we talk about reparations, even in this country, do what's up? What's up, alien? Like, do 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 women think they need? Black people say we demand reparations from the races because of the racism in America. Do women think they deserve reparations for quote unquote sexism? Do people from other countries think they deserve reparations for quote unquote xenophobia? Because people come from other countries like, well, if they get reparations, I should get reparations too. For what? Exactly for what? Women are like, I should get reparations too. Exactly what? From what? You know, because at the same time that men were oppressing women, when men were providing for women at the same time, royalty was happening. So it's a weird thing. You know what I'm saying? The same women that feel like men are holding them down are the same women that's like men are propping them up. Like it's a weird thing. But you know, this might be what BGS would call a ramble. No, no riots out here. You know, riots normally happen in poor neighborhoods. Um, and that's the only thing that happens. Like, let me say this before I go. This is the thing about race in America. America would say we have a racial problem, so we're going to reinvest in the black community because a lot of the problems that happens with race tend to not exist as much when you get to the middle class and up. The racism you deal with in the middle class and the upper classes, people upset that you're not poor. That's what you get. But the racism in America is one of those things where when we're going to invest in the black community, that means white people gonna get money to do it. Like they say, we're gonna allocate $100 million. White people gonna get that money. White men gonna get their money. White women gonna get their money. Hispanics gonna get their money. Caribbeans gonna get their money. Africans gonna get their money. Asians gonna get their money, and then Black Americans gonna get their money. And that becomes a problem. So you don't. So this country never really invest in the black community because the money never goes to people in the money doesn't initially go to people in the black community. All you got to do is get a board, is get a group of people together, and have one black person in the group, and then it becomes see I got a black friend on the board, so we should get this minority loan or this minority money because it becomes minority money. It doesn't come black money. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part of, when you have things um, when you get down to, it's triggered. Yeah, when you get to women's issues, you don't hear we should invest in women when it gets to gender, and people go, oh, let, let the men get it, let the black men get it, let the Asian men get it, let the Hispanic men get it, and then we gonna get to the women. They don't do that. When it gets to nationality, and why y'all want to know who I'm gonna vote for? What? I'm acting mighty white about it. I don't tell you my political who I need to vote for. So mind your business. Who are you gonna vote for? You say that. But same thing that happens with nationalities. When you vote for Kanye, when you get to different nationalities and they do minorities, if it's an Asian loan, Asians get it. If it's a Hispanic loan, Hispanics get it. If it's a Middle Eastern loan, Middle Easterns get it. Oh man, don't even worry about it, Michael. You know. Here, the vote is just, you know, it's just, I thought Hillary was gonna win, so if Trump winning automatically is off the table too to me. You know, he's Romanian. You know, live at it. But I'm gonna end this now because I got somewhere to be. And I'm gonna get ready to go. So I'm gonna catch y'all next time, and y'all take care. Peace.